Oh boy, do we have a good topic today. I wanted to make this video for a while now, but the title of this video is How Fortnite Destroyed Gaming Forever. And I want to give my viewpoint because there's a lot of things that I'm going to clarify in this video, but a lot of this kind of came to me recently. And just due to kind of the whole video game market right now in 2025, I kind of wondered how what the heck we got here, and I want to talk about how we got here. So the title of this video is maybe a bit controversial, and I get that. And I want to preface this whole video by saying these important things. I really enjoy Fortnite. Even to this day, I still enjoy Fortnite to a certain degree. Now, I don't play it that often, as much as I did back when it first came out. So I do want to preface that I love Fortnite as a game, and that I do not hate it in any way, shape, or form. Every topic that I'm going to be talking about today, I'm going to be talking about it from a viewpoint that Fortnite did this thing well, and other companies or other game developers did this same thing wrong. And how we get one good thing, and then these companies, to try and make more profit, turn this thing into a terrible thing, right? So just to give you a little background, I actually started playing Fortnite back in 2017. Believe it or not, I was actually more or less one of the first people to play the game. I got my first Fortnite win back in October. I think it was October 10th of 2017. You know, like this was like months before like Ninja blew up, and everybody kind of heard of Fortnite and started playing it. And so I guess that's kind of my claim to fame. I remember watching a video on YouTube of this guy named Dakota's playing Fortnite, which some of you may recognize. And I was like, what is this game? And I looked at it, and it was free, right? Like, that's super cool. So I downloaded it and played it for a little bit, got a whole bunch of wins, and then I was super into Call of Duty at that time, and I just played it till the new Call of Duty game came out. And long story short, I ended up getting bored with Call of Duty in January of 2018. And of course, kind of the rest is history. You know, I go on my phone that day on Instagram, back before I was on Instagram every day, and my entire feed is of people playing Fortnite. And ever since then, the game has been a staple in not only the gaming community, but also culture today. So without further ado, I have 5 reasons why Fortnite destroyed gaming forever, and I'm going to talk about each one. So number 1 is the implementation of a battle pass, right? So if you guys remember, the very first few battle passes were legendary, right? Like, they had the coolest skins. You know, you buy it, it's available during a season, and then you get these skins. You know, you had John Wick, you had these dances, you know, the glowing astronaut, all these different skins and things to work towards during that season. And I don't think Fortnite necessarily created the battle pass, but I do think they were the first ones to make it relevant, right? And so the battle pass was something so creative and so cool that I remember just like staying up, waiting for the new one to drop, looking through the entire battle pass day one, looking at all the cool things that you could get and the cool things that you could work towards. And I think the brilliancy of the battle pass and how Fortnite did it was you could also earn it for free by just playing and getting V-Bucks throughout the battle pass. So essentially, the more you played, the more V-Bucks you could earn. You get the next battle pass for free. So it creates this cycle of free enjoyment on an already free-to-play game, which was fantastic. Fortnite did that right. Now, the downside of the battle pass is that all these different companies saw the battle pass as a moneymaker, right? So you see almost every single game. I mean, from Call of Duty to Clash of Clans to Rocket League, to literally almost any game that you can think of, they never had a battle pass. And now all of a sudden, all of them are, you know, kicking up some battle passes and doing it what I would consider to be the wrong way, which I'll get into here in a sec. But now everybody's trying to hop on this bandwagon. Okay, so the way Fortnite did it was fantastic, but the way a lot of these new companies were doing it is Oh, and Apex Legends too. That was the game I was thinking of. They implemented a battle pass too. And so how these other companies wanted to do it was you had to actually buy the battle pass for most of these. And it begun this transactional relationship with video games, right? And that in my mind just destroyed the true passion of playing. Like the basically the pay for a game and get everything that game will ever offer besides DLC. So now you have all these gaming companies coming out with free to play games that are halfway made, offering up a battle pass for like, I don't know, 15, 20 bucks of just absolute slop. Nothing cool. Thinking about like Call of Duty, just stupid gun skins, character skins, like Nicki Minaj, just brain rot things. And they're pumping that out in the hopes that you will purchase it, right? Instead of making the game better, adding new features, they're pumping you with brain rot, which in turn is where they're trying to get all their money instead of actually developing a good video game. So the Battle Pass, the Fortnite Battle Pass, which took off, was a fantastic thing for Fortnite. Unfortunately, all these other companies exploited it, exploited the consumer, and stopped making good video games. Instead, they focused on free, half-made games, and then sold you a Battle Pass to essentially make their money back. And so that gets me into my second point. Along with the Battle Pass, the second thing was paid skins and the item shop. Now, once again, they weren't the first to do it. Epic Games and Fortnite were not the first to implement some sort of an item shop or a skins, right? Or all these things that you could pay for cosmetically. The first game that I played that actually had skins was Black Ops 2, or like an item shop that I can remember. And so if you played Black Ops 2 back in the day, they came out with all these new camos, and they were sick. Like, these camos were the coolest camos that had ever came out. Keep in mind this was well before Dark Matter and all of these other garbage camos. Well, Dark Matter was cool back in Black Ops 3, but now it's been done way too much. And so once again, Fortnite did it well. They made cool skins, they made legendary dances, everything cosmetic that was phenomenal, they implemented in the item shop. And they reaped the rewards of that, right? I mean, shoot, they were probably bringing in tens of millions of dollars a month off their item shop. But this was the first time we saw a game really implement it. They updated it regularly, and they came out with fantastic items. Nowadays, item shops, like I talked about, are like Call of Duty, coming out with these gun skins, a Nicki Minaj, character skin, all these like culture, I guess you could say my culture icons. They're just chucking this slop into video games. I used to play a lot of Rocket League. Rocket League would do it a little bit. However, Rocket League's a much better game, and they're a much better company than Call of Duty. And so I'm not going to dwell on Call of Duty specifically, but they are a company that did it wrong. And there's a lot of other games which I'm not thinking of at this time, who implement these item shops and to prey essentially on younger kids and people who just want these cosmetic items in game, and they make it so easy to buy them. And then people, of course, buy them, and these companies don't end up using that money to make their game better. The whole idea is we'll make a half-made game once again. We'll use the item shop to acquire more money, to keep funding more item shop purchases. And then, yeah, they might make a few updates, right, to their game. But that's the whole idea. Fortnite did it correctly. All these other developers now have an item shop. They have a battle pass. They do not care at all about the content of their game. They just care about making money off microtransactions. Number 3, the World Cup. So the World Cup was actually probably one of the most incredible things to happen to gaming, and I want to stress that. The Minecraft. The Fortnite World Cup was something so incredibly cool, because the first time in history you were able to qualify online for a World Cup, an in-person World Cup in an arena to win, I think $1 million at the time. I think it was $1 million. Maybe it was more. To win $1 million. That was in turn absolutely incredible. Of course, if you were watching streams and you were watching players back in those days, everybody was trying to qualify for the World Cup. So I won't dwell on that too much. It was a crazy cool idea. They pulled it off. It worked. It was great. That one kid, Booga, won. And I don't know if they've had one after that. I don't remember. I that's kind of when I lost track of Fortnite. But what that World Cup did, unbeknownst to everyone, is it kind of almost made gaming a career, which in turn is great, but it almost is on a standard of professional sports where you only have so many people that can actually make it to that level, right? And while of course there's pros and cons with that, but what that causes is now you have, 10 to 14-year-old kids, and even older, their whole sole purpose is to play video games for a living, right? And that's a whole nother topic, whether or not that's a good thing or a bad thing. But now instead of video games being a fun outlet to play with friends, now you have people throwing their whole lives to the side and playing video games 12 to 14 hours a day to try and qualify for the World Cup, qualify for this tournament, and that developed into more and more games. It wasn't the first time, that an esports event happened online or in person. Of course not. Like, that had been done well before Fortnite and the World Cup. It's just that it made esports much bigger, which is a good thing. But now there's this whole new market to the video game industry, which I think vastly hurts the casual side. Number 4, and I'm going to go off of the World Cup, Fortnite implemented highly competitive gaming. And so if you go on Fortnite nowadays, and this is something they implemented during the World Cup, I guess before the World Cup, to have people actually qualify, there are tournaments going on all the time in Fortnite. Once again, they do it right. Fortnite does it right. They do it great. They have good servers. It's a good time. They have almost no cheaters as far as I know. It's a good experience for those wanting to compete. There's money to win, prestige, whatever, fame, whatever. They do it right. Unfortunately, because of what Fortnite did in the past, now everybody wants to be, like I said, a professional gamer. So there's this whole world of competitive gaming that hadn't been seen before. And now you have people only playing, just sweating, everybody sweating so much on these games to try to become the next whoever, the next professional gamer, the next person who's able to play Fortnite and actually make a living. And this is translated to almost every game where the sole purpose of playing the game is gone for fun. The next purpose is what everybody's trying to do is play it either competitively to win money, or they have a goal that they will not stop playing until they achieve, right? In Call of Duty, and I'll reference Call of Duty a lot, it's the camo grind. The most brain dead, pointless thing you can do is grind camos. I've seen so many people, even myself, back in Black Ops 3, I grinded for Dark Matter. And I got Dark Matter, and I got bored, and I quit the game a week or two later. Right? And that's what people are doing nowadays with Call of Duty. And so these games are coming out with these kind of pointless challenges to rope you in, keep you playing these hard challenges, something that takes a long time. And then they rope you in, and that's, of course, where they try to get you with their microtransactions. Every time you load up the game, they're popping up the item shop. They got the item shop right in front of you. This camo, this skin, this whatever. And so this whole age of competitive gaming has allowed these companies to have some sort of a challenge or competitive event that ropes people in, gets people to want to compete, which then gets them to play the game even longer and for more hours, hoping for either to win a tournament, become a pro, or whatever status you're looking for, and to just milk money out of these people. And so while Fortnite did it right, all these other developers and these companies are trying to do it the easy way without making good content, good video games, and lasting games that will actually make money long term. All they're doing is trying to get money now and leaving the rest up to basically just luck. Number 5, and I think one of the worst, is after Ninja got big in Fortnite, the world looked at streaming video games as a way to once again make a living. So once Ninja got big, everybody and their mom started streaming, pretty much Fortnite, but streaming in general, in hopes to, get a piece of the pie, if you will. So Ninja, of course, there's a lot of interviews and podcasts of him talking about how much money he was making, during the boom or during the peak of his success on Twitch and Fortnite. And everybody wanted a piece of that. So now if you were on Twitch before all that, you kind of knew what the Twitch landscape was about. A lot of just cool gamers having fun, streaming to their audience. Now what you have on Twitch and what started coming about is basically the sweatiest esports 12 to 16-year-old kids who have only sat in their room and played Fortnite their entire childhood, trying to be the next Ninja, Booga, or whatever, any other your Fortnite creators or any other creator who plays a game. And so in theory, is this a bad thing, right? That's for another video. But what it did is it saturated content creation and made it so actual good creators were getting blown to the wayside, because all people wanted to see was the next competitive Fortnite god, essentially, who was going to win the World Cup, right? So, one of my favorite streamers was Tfue, right? What made Tfue so cool was the fact that he was one of the best Fortnite players. And so, he played the game 12, 14 hours a day, which, was whatever. It was cool at the time. But all these other people wanted to be like him and Ninja. And now when you load up Twitch, you got 5 to 10,000 plus streamers, people streaming Fortnite, if not more, all trying to not just enjoy the game, but to try to make money off of it, right? And if you think the money is the root to all evil, as I do, you'll notice how that's just not really a good equation, right? And so nowadays that has contributed over to other games. And while the popularity of streaming in video games has skyrocketed, which is good, right? These are good things. Fortnite did all these things correctly. It has in turn made it so these game developers can whip up a game really quick, add little effort, throw it online for free, right? Because Fortnite developed that system of the game comes out for free, they make money from microtransactions. So these game developers are like, well, we don't have a lot of money. Making video games takes a lot of money. Let's whip up a game, make it for free, add a whole bunch of skins and microtransactions, and let's make a buck and let's dip, right? And it's super toxic for the consumer, because all we want are these old games that have good content. They come out, they're well made, they're fully made, and that's it. 100% done. But now what we have here is a video game market or industry that is only worried about one thing, and that's money. And it has destroyed gaming. Hopefully not forever, but I think it will destroy gaming forever, because with every other industry in this world, you will notice that if there's money to be made, people will continue to do the thing that makes them the most amount of money, right? And before all this, gaming was about coming out with an incredible game, a well-made product. If you make that, people will buy it. And that has changed. And to end the video, I want to preface once again, Fortnite, incredible game. Epic Games, great developer. Have they done everything perfect? No. But they've done a lot of things very well. And unfortunately, they created a industry and a monster that they have no control over, and that has more or less ruined gaming forever. So I hope we as consumers can see past this slop and this garbage and stop giving money to these developers who are not in it for the long run to make good games, and that we can turn the video game industry around. So anyway, that's it for me. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and I'll talk to you guys later. Peace.